Hi, my name is Mia Smith, and today I will be giving a speech over prison reform and why I feel like it is essential for the United States. The U.S. has only 5% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's prison population. What does this show? It shows that the U.S. has mass incarceration, and this is not really a good thing. The current U.S. prison system is broken and in need of reform. And to prove this, I have gathered information from various credible sources, such as the Bureau of Justice Statistics, the American Psychiatric Association, and the Charles Koch Institute, and other sources dedicated to giving credible information. The problem here is simple. The U.S. prison system is broken, ineffective, and in need of reform, and I will prove that in this speech. In this speech, I will be discussing my issues with prison reform, why the current prison system is ineffective, and ideas for reform and change. So let's dive into some of these issues with the prison system. What exactly are they? Some of the main issues that I found in my research were recidivism, poor education, higher rates of incarceration for people of color, it's costly, and once people leave prison, they have a very hard time rejoining society. So let's look at some statistics. According to a study done by the Bureau of Justice Statistics, they tracked 400,000 prisoners after release, and within 5 years, 75% of those prisoners were rearrested and reincarcerated. This problem is called recidivism. It's when someone is released from prison and then ends up back in prison again. I would say the problem for recidivism is due to the fact that when people leave prison, they're not given adequate resources to be able to join society. Not only is it very hard for them to find a job due to the fact that they have a felony on their record, they're also not available to apply for government assistance. And so therefore, if they don't have someone to help them get off their feet, they normally end up back in the cycle of poverty and eventually will end up back in the prison system. Another statistic done by the NAACP in 2014 says that Black men are imprisoned at a 5 times higher rate than white men, and the rate for Black women imprisoned is 2 times higher than white women. So this shows that there is a racial bias in our justice system in the way that they handle crime. This problem more or less speaks for itself. It is absolutely sickening and should not be happening within our justice system today. According to the Charles Koch Institute, 74% of men released from prison were still searching for employment 8 months after their release. So this goes to show that having a felony on your record is debilitating, and most of them cannot find jobs. Yes, some jobs will hire you if you are a felon, but the opportunity to get a job is much less if you have that on your record. The Bureau of Justice Statistics says that the U.S. spends around $80 billion each year on prison. So that's $80 billion a year going towards an institution that does not produce any good results. Very slim, if any. Only 6% of this $80 billion is used for education, which is one of the main tools to help those who have been incarcerated function back in normal society whenever they are released. Without prison reform, this cycle of unemployment, poverty, and mass incarceration will only continue and get worse. These statistics hopefully go to prove what I'm saying, that the prison system is broken. So how exactly do we achieve prison reform? Well, the Charles Koch Institute says, prison reform is focused on ensuring public safety and restoration for those impacted by crime through the creation of constructive culture within our prison system. That sounds nice, right? How exactly could we do it? It's never been done here. Well, if we take a look at Norway and their prison system, they have a much different approach. Instead of focusing on punishment, which is mainly what the U.S. prison system does, the Norway prison system focuses on rehabilitation. They are dedicated to giving everyone in prison the chance to educate, to grow, to rehabilitate. And the goal for that is that when they're released back into society, they will be able to contribute and live nice, happy lives. In the U.S., we don't really see any programs going to help those after they're released, which is why we have such a high rate of recidivism. from a Norwegian prison governor, Ann Wilson, says, "If we treat people like animals when they are in prison, they will behave like animals. Here, we pay attention to you as human beings." Their goal is to rehabilitate, and it is actually very successful, with recidivism rates at only 20% in Norway. So we see that growth, education, and rehabilitation truly does curb the problem of recidivism and does help reduce crime. Statistics from the Charles Koch Institute show that mental health support in prison reduced conduct by 22%. And in one California prison, substance abuse treatment resulted in a 48% decrease in reincarceration. So not only does this idea work at Norway, it also works here in our home country of America. It's just not as widely of a used practice. So now that we know the issues and we can see some solutions, what exactly do we do next? Hopefully we understand the bottom line, that is, the prison system is very broken and in need of reform. It is a system that is focused on punishment instead of rehabilitation and hardly offers any room for growth. Without prison reform, billions of dollars will be spent on a system that is ineffective and unhelpful. Hopefully, after we all hear this speech, we have a better understanding of just exactly what is so flawed with the prison system, how we can fix it, and hopefully we all have a drive to do so and to fix this problem and push for change, not only for prisons and the people inside them, but for everyone else outside those walls. The family, community, country, economy, all aspects of life are affected, not just the people on the inside. I hope we all push for change. I hope we all want better as a country, and I hope we're all a little more educated after the speech. Thank you.